Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Rob. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing all right. I'm feeling good this morning. I'm on the off-grid line, the brick, the direct to studio line, not in studio.
No, I know. I looked over to the studio. And normally, Mark would be over in the studio right to my immediate right. He is not there today. The lights are still turned off. I see no one over in that chair. And so Mark has joined us magically, Christine, this week on the special remote connection. So we got you, though, but we're still feeling good, right? Whether you're here or there.
Does it sound good, listeners? Does it sound like I'm right there in the studio?
We're pretty darn close, I would say, right, Christine?
I love it.
It does.
So I don't know about you, but now that the Patriots are out of it, I think I'm cheering for the Lions after that story this morning.
Oh, what was that?
I think I'm cheering for the Lions here on out now that our Patriots are out of it. From that story this morning was was very moving.
Yeah. It was, and I know, sports with you has been about special connections, but it made me think about some of those memories that we have, and I think that relates and taps into something about sharing those memories. And I think we all have a story about going, whether it be, whoever the relative, it's your dad or your grandfather, uncle, aunt, mom, whoever it is that takes you to these games, and you have time, and hopefully they're still in your life. In this case, the father is no longer there, and he was just happened to let his emotions out. He was crying, and so people wanted to know a little bit more about his story. And you know what? He's getting tickets now to the Lions Bucks game on Sunday.
I mean, he ought to get season tickets. That kid is so in touch with the spirit of his father. It's awesome.
Yeah, it really was. That definitely is a story that did affect me. I saw it and I said, I gotta share that with the listeners about the crying. They're calling him the crying Lions fan, and they're wondering, because so many Lions fans, sure, we're happy because it's been a while, and I think we traditionally thought about the Lions usually on Thanksgiving always just losing. And now all of a sudden here they are. They're in the divisional round, and they're going to take on Tampa Bay, and it's a great story. And this was a story about his dad, who was so much a Lions fan. I guess they were both iron workers, I think. And the dad died, but he wanted to be, or I guess he was buried in his Lions gear. That's how much of a fan he was. So
I'm cheering for him.
Yeah.
Let's go Detroit. Let's go Detroit.
So we will see. We got some good games coming up. We're feeling good about that. We're feeling good still about high school basketball tonight with Mark Stiles sponsoring that, among many other great businesses that are showcasing the great athletes. And tonight it will be Scituate and Plymouth South. Talk about two great schools there.
Oh, that'll be a great game. Have you ever heard the term best laid plans of mice and men often go awry?
Yes.
Oh, well, I've got a story for you from this week, Rob. So I was going to be calling you from a hotel room in Richmond after an amazing conference from the real estate industry. El Paso Sam and the Hooper brothers were putting on this Energize convention. All the leaders in the space were going to be down there, and I was going to be calling from the off-grid line from there. And I was going to be talking about this podcast that I had heard over the week from Huberman Labs. Andrew Huberman, amazing guy from Stanford, talking about doing the hard things, right? Pushing through. The hard things are the things, because that's what helps you grow, and resilience and all of that. And we were going to have some fun talking about that, along with all of the unbelievable initiatives that Charity 365 is doing. Carolina Hill this month, by the way, raising awareness. Shout out to Megan and the team. And then life happened, Rob.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, okay. Is this good?
It has to be, right?
Okay.
It has to be. Mindset, right?
That's true.
So I'm doing 5 different things. Wednesday, if you remember, was super greasy out. And I'm rushing around, hoping to get to the airport, walk out my steps, and woo! America's Home Video Top 10. Bam!
No.
And I held my knee and said, I'm not getting on a plane today.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. And there were 2 angels walking down the street, and they helped me into the house, took a deep breath and said, I've been here before, and this too shall pass. So at that moment, I realized, okay, how am I going to react to this situation? Because it's not about the action, it's about the reaction to the event. And the friends would call all day Oh, that sucks. No, that sucks. No, so you're not going to be able to ski. No, I don't want it. I'm looking at this as an opportunity. God works in mysterious ways, Rob and Christine.
Okay.
And it was slow down to speed up. Kim Barassa, my shout out to Kim Barassa, my skiing Sherpa. She used to always teach the instructors how to teach the students slow down to speed up. So I'm embracing it. I've been here before, which is really an interesting part of it too, because in 2017 I had almost an identical slip and fall on the other knee.
Oh, okay. So this is the other knee.
This is the other knee. And while I held my knee, I was like, is this the same knee? Because, when you're in shock,
yeah, you don't know.
Your knee's bent behind you. You're like, what is going on? So now I know what the path to the journey is, right? Where in 2017, I'm like, what do you mean surgery? I don't know what this means. Work? What am I going to do? I don't understand. And now we have 2020 with all of the remote work. I'm all set up already. Today's Friday. It's like I got my living room set up as like an office. It's go time. And as Dave Will, shout out, my buddy, said in 2020, create, don't complain. So now it's time to pick up the guitar again. It's time to start writing, slowing down, being creative. We had an awesome episode of Dr. Joe last night with Ron Baruti, who's been on my podcast. And the irony did not escape me. I was lying down on my couch with my laptop and headset on doing the Zoom live. Shout out to Larry making that IT connection work for the listeners. Great episode. It'll be a podcast next week. And I realized, okay, it's time to load up the queue with podcasts. So shout out to the listeners. I have a podcast on it's called Elements of Stiles, play on the Strunk and White grammar book, Elements of Style. It's called Elements of Stiles. It's can be found anywhere you find podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all of them. Audible actually is doing podcasts now. And if you want to share your story, reach out to me. We'll do a pre-call. We'll see if it works. And I'd love to throw 20 new podcasts out there while I'm home healing, recovering, and creating. So the best way to do that, Rob, is I have what's called a Calendly link. So listeners, I'm talking with you now.
Okay.
Tell your story, share your story. 30-minute podcast. You've thought about it. Let's do it. Calendly.com. Calendly.com. It's a scheduling app, which I encourage everyone to check out. Really inexpensive. Helps me time block. Calendly.com/M-Stiles. M-S-T-I-L-E-S. 15-minute call. It's already scheduled in my calendar. Reach out and we'll talk about it. And if it makes sense and you want to do it, I will send out a recording link and we'll record it a week later or something. So I'm encouraging anyone who wants to share their story to reach out, because I'm going to be queuing it up. I'm going to be filling it up. So Thomas, shout out to you, my brother at Studio B. Get ready, because we're going to be throwing down a bunch of new episodes.
All right. A lot of work coming your way, Thomas. Let's see. Now, Mark, how long are you going to be like this? Is this very serious? Or no, I'm concerned now. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah. So when you hear the pop, the person listening right now who's heard that pop, the pop. I felt 2 of those pops. We're waiting to get the MRI to see what the actual prognosis is. Hoping for the best, preparing for realities. However, again, this is 2.0. So the anxiety is totally at a maintained level, because I know what to expect. It's always the fear of the future, like what is going to happen. Mm-hmm. I know what is going to happen, assuming it's similar injury as the other one, and that is a worst case scenario. Everything else is great. So hoping to go straight to PT and have those special people who I've been to a bunch of PT in the last 30 years. What an amazing craft the physical therapists have. And when they put the magical hands on, let's go. So hoping that that's without surgery, but expecting surgery too. So, and I've been there, so I know it, I've seen it, and I'm embracing. I'm going to pick up the guitar. I am going to play the intro, Becca Schran's composition there of the Feel Good Friday intro. I'm going to learn how to play that.
Okay.
That's the goal.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, that'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be great to have you do that, do a little video. Yeah, it'd be nice.
I don't know about video.
Okay. Well, we'll start with the music first. And So Mark Stiles, but the thing is, you're right. I guess with the, maybe before, we always talked about COVID positive, but even before, coming up with these remote options and solutions so that when things do happen, it's nice to be prepared, which kind of, goes into your whole mission statement for your business. So when things do happen, it isn't the end of the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, it made me also think about, been there, done that.
Yeah.
And how confident that can make you feel. So, and it made me think, okay, I'm talking on Feel Good Friday with WATD, Rob and the team. And where's the comparison there? Working with someone who's done it so many times, who's so confident and competent at that art, that specific practice, whether it's a financial advisor, a CPA, or a specific practice of law, whether it's estate planning or real estate or business law, somebody who's done that thousands of times. It reminds me of the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, that 10,000 rule. Do something 10,000 times, you become an expert. And, that segue for business is we've done it a bunch. So, if we can help you, we'd love to do that. And the most comforting piece of this setback, I guess, would be the most negative term I'll use, is that I have a team surrounding me in all facets of our business that allow me to be off grid. So there'll be some off grid time too, and completely unplugging and checking out and enjoying this new normal, this new time that I'm going to have, that I'm not going to be in the car. I'm not going to be rushing from another appointment to another thing. I'm going to go back to the remote 2020 virtual. Hey, I know we were supposed to have lunch. Hey, can we Zoom that lunch and, share screen?
Yeah. Yeah. So being positive, and as you mentioned, you will have some time to be working on some other projects that you wanted to do anyway, it sounds like. Yeah. So that'll be a good way.
And didn't have the time.
Yep.
Now that I have the time, there is no excuse.
Yeah. Mark Stiles is with us every Friday at this time. Feel Good Friday on WATD. Stiles-law.com is the website. His office is on Route 139, and you can reach out to him. I know you can reach out to him about the podcast, or you can reach out to him about other issues as well. If you've got questions and concerns, you can always talk to Mark and his team, right?
Absolutely. And operators are standing by. No, our concierge will make sure that you're placed with the appropriate person that can help you. And that number is 781-319-1900, 781-319-1900. But I do want to encourage folks to be super careful out there. It is winter. I joke about the winter in New England sometimes, but it's real and it's slippery, and it's not possible that it can be safe and dry in every spot. So for my dog parkers out there, I will miss you, but wear crimps. Order up on Amazon, get some crimps for the bottom of your feet so that you can grab on to that ice, and I'll be the only one sitting here being creative.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're going to be okay. And certainly there was very scary. I know Christine and I were just talking about the ice this last couple of days, Christine. Yesterday and today we were mentioning and how we have to. I mean, I remember. I mean, I told this story, Mark, when I was at my mother's house, and she has a brick walkway, and I just didn't see it one time. It was just kind of glazed over, and I just didn't think about it. And I tend to kind of move fast. And so I was just walking, and the next thing I knew, I was in the air and on my behind, and I just flew up into the air. I did it that way and came down that way. And so now, Christine, I know you do the same thing in the parking lot.
Like tiptoeing.
Yeah.
You see me. I walk very gently. I don't want to fall.
No. And last time I had my bag and everything flew all over the place. And,
Shoes are so important. Shoes are so important with ice.
So important, yeah. You're right. That's good stability, and just take it easily, as best you can get around. So,
and awareness, right? Awareness, right? Be aware of your circumstances. We're in New England. It's maybe icy.
Yep. Mark Stiles is with us from Stiles Law. He's on Friday mornings on WATD, joining us remotely today, as we are wishing Mark a very good recovery there from that injury, Mark.
Thank you, my friend.